Hey guys, this is the Reaper, and it's time once again for a Reaper review. So, today we're going to be reviewing Boruto Episode 6. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you recall, last episode we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger as Boruto, Shikadai, and Mitsuki were called to the forest to meet with Shino Sensei. Right away, the group can tell that Shino isn't exactly acting like himself. They believe that he's angry, and with good reason, as they have recently added one more blemish on his already dwindling reputation as a teacher. With this in mind, Shikadai that they all apologize to Shino for all the trouble that they have caused. Predictably, Boruto is resistant to any kind of apology, as that would admit that he actually did something wrong. And Mitsuki, with his lack of social awareness, doesn't believe he's done anything worthy of apologizing for, as he was simply following the orders of his classmates. Since this back and forth is going on right in front of Shino's face, it's pretty clear to see that any apology that may or may not come of this would be disingenuous. After Shino voices the complaints of the average teacher in 2022, then states his intention to kill the three of them. And it's only the blatant declaration against their safety that snaps them out of their petty bickering. Boruto takes a hit that by all rights should have killed him, and recognizing that Shino is too strong for the three of them to defeat, they decide their best strategy is to run, but not before seeing that Shino is also engulfed with that black aura. The trio put some distance between themselves and Shino, however they find themselves in a bit of a predicament. They are now stranded in the middle of the forest, too far away to call for help, and acknowledge that even if they continue to flee, it's only a matter of time before Shino catches up with them. As the group begins to strategize to find a way out of their predicament, Shikadai becomes increasingly more suspicious about Mitsuki. It could be because the incidents of rampaging villagers seem to have increased once Mitsuki has entered the village. Maybe it's because of Mitsuki's snake-like features. Maybe he thinks that Mitsuki is trying to steal Inojine's stick. Or it could be that every time they bring up the fact that they're not strong enough to defeat Shino Sensei, Mitsuki looks at the camera and smiles. Whatever it is, while Boruto and Shikadai are running for their lives, Mitsuki sneaks off to report to his mysterious contact, observing Boruto and Shikadai's struggle and commenting that they are not as strong as he hoped. In the midst of Boruto and Shikadai's floundering, they notice Shino's bugs can't approach the water. Shino's bugs that eat poison and chakra for breakfast. Shino's bugs that have blocked fire. Shino's bugs that eat crystals and resist crystallization. Shino's bugs that live inside his body. Shino's bugs that are capable of this. Sorry. So Shino's bugs are afraid of the water now. So Shikadai hatches a plan. What they need to do is lure Shino to a water source and have him submerged long enough for them to knock him out. Acknowledging that this could still potentially be a suicide mission, Shikadai volunteers Mitsuki to be the decoy. He does this both thinking that out of all of them, Mitsuki has the highest chance of success, while simultaneously putting Mitsuki in a position where he would have to reveal any cards that he might still be hiding. Oddly enough, Mitsuki seems to have developed some semblance of social competence as he begins to verbally spar with Shikadai and potentially make him feel guilty for potentially send a classmate to their death. In a very uncharacteristic fashion, Boruto steps up, giving a speech about how it should be him who plays the decoy, and goes on about caring about his friends. Now, the reason I say that this is uncharacteristic for Boruto is because we have already witnessed several times within the series that Boruto has proven to be unaware, unresponsive, and irresponsible of situations that suggests any wrongdoing on his part. And we've seen this behavior this episode. While Shikadai was suggesting that they go ahead and apologize to Shino, we saw Boruto behave like there was no chance that his wrongdoing could be the source of the conflict. And even later in this episode, we see his very lackadaisical attitude to their life or death predicament. It does seem odd that he would suddenly begin taking things seriously now, but as I've said before, that is the beauty of writing bland characters. They can morph into whatever you need them to be for the convenience of your plot. So Boruto gives his speech, and Mitsuki gets this, "Oh my gosh, I just realized I'm in the presence of the protagonist" look. And next thing we know, the three are setting ambush for Shino Sensei. The plan itself is relatively simple, yet still effective. They trick Shino into believing one of Boruto's shadow clones is actually Mitsuki, which allows the real Mitsuki an opportunity to draw Shino into the water. Now, I've said this before, and I still do intend to cover this in more depth in a later episode, but it does seem necessary to mention here that this is yet another one of the disadvantages of making characters that are almost identical to the ones that we already have seen before. How many times have we seen Naruto's Shadow Clone decoy strategy come in clutch? How many times have we seen Shikamaru outplay his opponent straight into a Shadow Possession Jutsu? Basically, both Boruto and Shikadai are just performing the same maneuvers that we've seen time and time again. And comparatively, there's no question about who did it better. It just makes for a less interesting story all around. So the plan works fairly well. Shino blacks out momentarily, releasing the black aura from his body, but Mitsuki misjudges how much chakra he has left and seems resolute in the fact that he is now about to drown. Boruto, attempting to follow through with his previous speech on friendship, dives in after him, but unfortunately he does not have enough strength to do the job. And it's actually the newly restored Shino who comes through and saves the both of them, just before collapsing from exhaustion. Once everyone has had a moment to recover, the group explains that Shino was under the influence of that black aura, and the whole group gives a meaningful apology. On one side, apologizing for all the trouble they've been causing for the semester, and the other for trying to kill them, even if it was under the influence of said dark aura. Later on, we see Shino talking with our boy Naruto and also Shikamaru, where he gives the Hokage a rundown of what exactly happened. All things considered, the two seem pretty cool that he did almost kill their sons, as they casually mention that it's a good thing that he wasn't himself during that fight, otherwise Boruto and company would certainly be dead. This is the understatement of the century. We are, of course, talking about the Shino that we've technically never seen lose a fight. The Shino who can infest your body with poisonous bugs before you even know that you're in a fight. The same Shino who did this. Honestly, this seems like more a case of inconsistent nerfing and writing than an actual explanation. Even without going, quote, all out, we should have had GG here. This would have been GG, that would have been good game, that would have been game over. Definitely GG here, this was probably a GG, and this likely would have ended the Boruto series. But anyway, enough about that. How are we gonna rate this episode? Well, once again, even with an action-filled episode, Boruto fails to deliver. As stated before, we're mostly seeing less creative and less colorful versions of the type of actions that we're used to. And on top of that, even though Boruto and his friends seem to be in a very serious and dangerous situation, it's hard to take their situation seriously when even they appear so aloof and relaxed throughout the ordeal that it seems that even they might be aware that this is just a TV show. It doesn't provide an opportunity to take their situation seriously or put any real stakes in what they're going through, and therefore it just leaves you waiting for the point when it's finally over. So once again, we're looking at a very dull experience. Well, at least at this point they're addressing the whole mystery of the rampaging villagers, So perhaps this will provide some sources for more interesting material in the near future. But that's something for another episode. On that note, I think it's time to bring this review to a close. My name is The Reaper, and I'm a YouTuber for fun. Today's challenge, make a new friend. Good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next one.